This channel brings you epic royal romances, powerful warrior queens, cold emperors with hidden hearts, supernatural battles, secret heirs and forbidden love. New stories every week. Subscribe, and let's fantasize together. Across the golden plains of East Africa, heat shimmered above tall grass like restless spirits. Warriors painted in red clay stood shoulder to shoulder beneath the burning sun, shields raised, spears grounded, eyes fixed on the distant horizon where the sea met the sky. Queen Nkosi stood above them on the high balcony of her obsidian palace, wind tugging gently at the gold-threaded braids that crowned her head. 27 years old. Unmarried. Unconquered. The scars on her forearms were ceremonial, earned through trials of endurance when she was only 16. She had hunted lions. She had negotiated peace between rival clans. She had ended 3 attempted invasions before her 20th year. No king had ever made her kneel. Until now. On the ocean's edge, white sails marked with a silver dragon crest pierced the horizon. The Azure Dragon Empire. They had crossed continents. And they had not come with trade. They had come with a decree. Marry their emperor, or face annihilation. The messenger had delivered the scroll calmly, as if suggesting tea. The Dragon Emperor offers alliance through union, he had said. Refusal will be interpreted as hostility. Hostility from the Azure Empire meant fleets. Fire. Complete erasure. Zura did not fear war, but she feared watching her people burn. The council had argued for hours beneath torchlight. We can fight, her general insisted. We cannot survive their dragons, her advisor replied quietly. Dragons. Not myths. Real. Breathing celestial fire. The emperor himself was rumored to be more beast than man. That night Zura stood alone beneath the stars and made the only choice that would protect her kingdom. She agreed. Not as a submissive bride, but as a queen securing survival. Weeks later, frost replaced heat. Snow fell like drifting ash from a silent sky as Zura's carriage rolled into the imperial capital of the east. She had never seen snow before. It fascinated her. But she did not allow fascination to soften her posture. The palace was a masterpiece of silver rooftops and curved eaves, silk banners flowing like rivers in winter wind. Lanterns glowed softly in blues and golds, illuminating marble pathways and sculpted dragon statues that coiled toward the sky. Eyes followed her carriage. Whispers followed her presence. Foreign. Dark. Warrior. Woman. They expected silk submission. Instead, when the carriage door opened, Zura stepped down wearing fitted golden armor etched with the sun symbol of Nkosi. A crimson cloak fell from her shoulders, contrasting against the snow like living flame. The palace doors opened. He descended the steps slowly. Emperor Li Wei, 36. Tall. Composed. Untouchable. His black hair was tied back with a silver clasp shaped like a dragon claw. His robes were white and pale blue, simple but unmistakably imperial. His face held the stillness of someone who did not rush for anyone. Their eyes met. Hers were deep brown, steady, unafraid. His were silver gray, sharp, assessing. The world did not move in that moment. The snow did not seem to fall. 2 forces recognized each other. Not attraction. Not yet. Power. He expected her to bow deeply. She inclined her head just enough to honor diplomatic custom. Nothing more. A flicker of something unreadable passed through his gaze. Interesting. The wedding was a spectacle designed to reassure both empires. African drums echoed through marble halls while Eastern flutes wove haunting melodies through torchlight. Silk met beadwork. Snow met ceremonial fire pits that crackled warmly in open courtyards. They stood side by side beneath a canopy of silver lanterns. Vows were spoken. Promises of unity, protection, alliance. None of love. When the ceremony ended, the court applauded. When the doors closed behind them in their private chamber, Silence settled heavily between them. The room was enormous. Silk curtains draped around a carved canopy bed large enough for royalty and politics. He removed his outer robe calmly. "You are Empress in title," he said without looking at her. "This marriage secures stability. Nothing more." Zura removed her crown and placed it carefully on the table. "I did not cross oceans expecting affection." He glanced at her then. "You speak plainly. So do you." A pause. "Good." He turned toward the window, watching snow gather on distant rooftops. Neither approached the bed. Neither reached for the other. Yet neither felt weak. That night, distance was not hostility. It was respect waiting to grow. Zura refused to behave like a decorative empress. By the third morning, she attended council. Ministers fell silent when she entered. Li Wei said nothing. He simply gestured for her to sit. She observed first. Listened. Memorized faces. Understood alliances. The empire was vast, but not invulnerable. Trade routes were stretched thin. Northern provinces were restless. Military supply lines depended heavily on winter stability. She spoke only once. "If your northern borders freeze before reinforcements arrive, you will lose grain storage." The generals exchanged glances. Li Wei's gaze sharpened slightly. "You have studied our terrain." "I study anything that threatens what I am attached to." Attached. Not emotionally. Politically. But the word lingered. Minister Han, the emperor's closest advisor, watched her carefully. Suspicion bloomed in his eyes. The first time her power surfaced, it was unintentional. A full moon hung high above the palace gardens. Zura stood alone near a frozen koi pond, remembering the heat of her homeland. Loneliness crept in. Not weakness. Just isolation. Suddenly warmth surged beneath her skin. Gold light traced faint lines across her forearms. The water in the pond rippled though no wind blew. Sunfire. Ancient blood inherited through generations of warrior queens. She had always controlled it. But here, in foreign soil, it felt stronger. Wild. Across the palace, Li Wei froze mid-step. Pain shot through his spine. Silver scales flickered across his wrist before vanishing. His dragon stirred violently. He followed the pull instinctively. He found her standing in moonlight, glowing faintly like dawn against snow. For a long moment, neither spoke. "You are not merely human," he said quietly. "Neither are you." His jaw tightened. "How much do you know?" "Enough to recognize when something ancient answers something ancient." He stepped closer. Not threatening. Drawn. The air between them hummed. Two forces acknowledging each other. For the first time, the silence felt charged. Not distant. Electric. Rumors began shortly after. "She manipulates him. She will weaken the empire. She practices foreign sorcery." Minister Han cultivated fear subtly, whispering doubts into ears that already feared change. An assassin was sent into her chamber one night. He underestimated her. The blade he aimed at her throat never landed. She disarmed him swiftly, efficiently. Two more followed. 3 bodies lay at her feet before guards arrived. She stood breathing evenly, eyes calm. Li Wei entered moments later. He took in the scene in silence. "You handled it," he said. "Yes. You did not call for help. I do not panic." He studied her for a long moment. Then, quietly, "Good." That was the night trust deepened. War came in winter. A northern rebellion, backed secretly by rival kingdoms fearful of the prophecy whispers spreading across continents. Zura insisted on riding. "You are not yet accustomed to our terrain," Li Wei warned. "You are not accustomed to my refusal." He almost smiled. Almost. On the battlefield, snow turned red beneath fallen soldiers. Zura fought like controlled flame, precise, fluid, devastating. When enemy reinforcements surged unexpectedly, Li Wei stepped forward and transformed. Bones reshaped. Silver-blue scales erupted outward. Wings unfurled, massive and radiant against storm-gray sky. A celestial dragon towered above the battlefield, roaring thunder into existence. Enemy soldiers fled in terror. Zura did not flinch. She watched him with awe but not fear. Later, in the aftermath, she approached him as he shifted back to human form. "You hide wings beneath silk. And you hide fire beneath skin." Snow fell softly around them. Something unspoken shifted. That night, they did not stand on opposite sides of the chamber. They stood closer. Not touching, but aware. The slow burn had begun. The Great War followed months later. An alliance of kingdoms moved to eliminate them before their combined power matured fully. Armies clashed across sea and land. African shield walls fought beside dragon cavalry. Sunfire met celestial flame. During the final battle, Zura was struck from behind by a blade infused with dark magic. She fell. Li Wei's roar split the sky. He wrapped around her in dragon form, shielding her body as enemy forces advanced. Gold erupted from her veins uncontrollably. Silver lightning answered. Their powers fused. The sky turned blinding white. When vision returned, the battlefield was silent. Victory. But victory came with cost. Weeks later, Zura collapsed in the palace gardens. He caught her before stone could bruise her skin. The royal healer's voice trembled. "She carries life." Joy flickered. Then fear. Ancient scrolls warned of children born of dragon and sunfire. Balance, or devastation. Zura watched her sleeping husband that night. Peace was fragile. If the world discovered the heir, war would return instantly. So before dawn, she left. No confrontation. No explanation. Only a sealed letter that did not mention the child. 2 years passed. In Kosi, a small boy ran barefoot through tall grass. Cairo. Dark skin glowing warmly beneath African sun. Silver eyes watching everything. He laughed easily, fearlessly, but sometimes the air shimmered around him. Zura trained daily, raising him in strength and discipline. She loved him fiercely, and feared what he might become. Then came the day bandits attacked the border village. Before Zura could strike, Cairo screamed. The sky cracked open with gold and silver light. Energy surged outward. Bandits were thrown back violently. The earth trembled. Miles away, across ocean and mountain, Li Wei dropped to his knees. His dragon roared. He felt it. His blood awakened. He stood immediately. "Prepare the fleet." Storm clouds gathered over Nkosi. An ancient entity stirred. The Void Serpent. Drawn to hybrid power, Zura saw the sky darken unnaturally. And she knew. Hiding had only delayed destiny. Imperial ships appeared at dawn. Dragon banners cut through sea mist. When Li Wei stepped onto African soil again, 2 years of silence stood between them. Then he saw the child. Silver eyes met silver eyes. Recognition did not require explanation. He knelt before a toddler. "My son." No anger, only certainty. Zura's breath trembled for the first time in years. The storm above them split open. The Void Serpent rose from shadow like living darkness. Wings of void, eyes of hunger. Zura unleashed sunfire storms. Li Wei became celestial dragon once more, but the serpent regenerated. Until Cairo stepped forward. Small, unafraid. He did not attack. He absorbed. Gold and silver harmonized. Light stabilized. Balance formed. The Void Serpent disintegrated into nothingness. Silence returned. Later, in the quiet of night, Zura stood beside Li Wei watching Cairo sleep. "You should have trusted me," he said softly. "I was afraid." He placed his hand over hers. Next time, we face fear together. Outside, the boy's hand glowed steadily. Not chaos. Not destruction. Balance. And this is only the beginning. I hope the story has captured your heart. Stick around to find out what happened next and which dangers they shall face together. Thank you for listening, like, and subscribe for more fantasy and mystical stories.